Welcome everybody here live at Glenn Martin Hammond's office in Coal Run. We got Kevin Keathley to my right. I'm Darryl McCoy, and as always, we got the maestro Thomas Rainey on the boards. Coach, looks like you got your ears lowered today.
Well, you know what? I had to do something. The new year. Happy New Year, by the way, Darryl McCoy and Thomas Rainey. 2024 in. Yeah, I had to get this, do something with this mop of a hair, and went in and got a little fresh haircut. I'm telling you what, though, Darryl McCoy, man, oh man, we've been to the Smoky Mountains. Yeah. We've been to Prestonsburg, Kentucky. You've been all over the place. It's been one heck of a week.
It has.
A week and a half.
Yeah, we've been all over the place. I'd hate to see the miles on the D&D machine, but as you're sitting here, you get Christmas out of the way, then you got New Year's. It's taken me a while to get back in the groove of things. Yeah,
look, kind of off kilter. Me and Darryl McCoy talked about that. It's like just a little something don't feel right, but we're getting back on recalibrating here.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't know, what it is, but it's just taking a minute to get. It's a slow start, and you always say you want to start the year off right, but right now I'm finding a hard time to start the year off right because things are they're not moving as quickly as I'd like.
Well, I do know one thing, and D&D Sports Network from first when it hit that strike. It struck midnight 2024. D&D Sports Network had you covered. Darryl McCoy, you were listen. Perry Central, Hazard, Prestonsburg, Menifee County. We have every region covered in the mountains, including West Virginia.
Yeah, I had Phelps and Hurley. So we had a team from Virginia. We had
team from Virginia. We had West Virginia. We had Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah.
We had the 14th region. We had the 15th region. We had the 16th region. We were everywhere.
Yeah, from start to bottom, we had you covered.
Listen, and it's only, January the 3rd, or where are we at here? So, I mean, listen, nobody does it like we do. People talk about, putting the work in, putting the time in. No, D&D Sports Network, paying the dues, doing the hard work, digging the ditches. You better believe it, we're getting it done.
Well, we're going to talk about the two games we was at here in a minute, but, last night, paled in comparison because I got to see a packed gym at Memorial Gymnasium. You couldn't have fit another person in that gymnasium. Just a throwback of, back in the late 90s, early 2000s when people got out and packed the gyms. Unlike what we're seeing tonight at the Expo Center, Coach, it looks like they might be 50 people in the gym.
Maybe 50 people, Maestro. I always ask this: why the early rounds of the Class A hold it in the why the Expo? I mean, I know there's that lease and that deal, but still, I mean, you could get more done local high schools.
Don't even get me started. Get it out of the Expo. Okay, you want the region there? Be special.
Right.
I got it. Let's be special. The all ain't put back at the schools. Now you're going to see a different story tomorrow night at the 2A in Pikeville or Pike Central, where it's at the school, and you're going to see an environment. I love the folks at the Expo. Listen, they're great to us there.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They're amazing, but it's just not an environment with 50 people in the gym.
It's not, and like I said, it'd be different if they found a way to block off the top of the gymnasium where it didn't look so empty. But you're not doing these kids any favors. I understand a lot of the coaches would like to have them games there, so when they get to region, they've played there.
Right.
But I just don't think it does anybody any favors. It definitely don't do the game of basketball any favors.
Another great question, Amanda. Hal Hicks said, "Well, I have only one game tonight."
No, I mean,
really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't either. But why are you renting out the gymnasium for one game?
Right.
Like I said, I'm not knocking the Expo. I know everybody says Thomas is anti-Expo.
No.
I just think you could put it in one of these small gyms and have a blast.
Oh,
yes.
You absolutely could, and that's exactly where it should be. But, it's where it's at, and, now you're getting, these kids playing in atmospheres to where they would fit more people in their own home gymnasium. And it's fine if you want to do semifinals there.
Maybe even the finals. Let's do something big.
Do semifinals and finals at the Expo, but do the first two rounds in the home gymnasiums. Whoever's got the best record, or figure out some way, or do a neutral site at a gymnasium. somewhere between the schools or something.
Flip a coin. I mean, do something.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Get it done.
Yep.
There you go.
There
Whatever
you go.
it takes.
So, but that it come over. Last week, we was at a gymnasium, and we had a principal over in West Virginia side. Come up and mentioned, said our crowds ain't been the same, and it was like, well, first of all, let's check what the product on the floor is, and then let's jump over and, don't instantly start blaming, because here's the thing. What you get when you got people streaming, specifically with the bigger media companies. Now, the streaming services, they don't do much for helping crowds, but when you got the bigger media companies, how many people actually knows about that game and has come to that game because they've seen it on these bigger media outlets?
Oh, I agree. Or better yet, maybe they're not going to come to that game, but they can say, oh, wow, that team's pretty good, man. That was an exciting game.
That's
it. That's just 20 minutes up the road. Let's go check them out tomorrow or the next night.
Right, yeah, right, Darryl McCoy, right? So, yeah, the marketing and promotion that D&D Sports Network gives local high schools, colleges, whatever the case may be, junior highs, the marketing, the platform that it all of a sudden junior high players become superstars at 7th and 8th grade. Freshmen become superstars, megastars as freshmen. And you tune it in to watch that product. Now that's gonna filter only into the gymnasium. Darryl, you made a good point. Obviously product matters. But the other thing on the high school end, how much are you really embracing the school spirit every single day at school? How are you investing? How are you getting your kids involved in that product? It comes down back to a lot of times the high school as well itself.
Well, you see so many schools now, or not so many, you see a few schools that have bigger attendance. They let the kids in free.
Yeah.
You get a business to donate $500 or whatever, and let the kids in free.
Yeah. Right. And how many? Here's the other thing is, and we talk about it all the time as far as the atmospheres go. How many programs do you see that dresses 25 kids? That it should be 15-man roster, and the other kids should be in the spirit section cheering on the team. That's what creates atmospheres, and that I never did get it. I respect the coaches that are saying, okay, these 15 guys, these guys work their tail off to set this bench. It means something to set this bench, and the other guys get to sit there and dream, and it gives them something to work for to set that bench.
I agree. I understand.
Yeah.
But too, and I'm gonna go the principal route. A lot of this population, our population continues to decrease.
Yeah,
Let's face it. People continue to move. So, and now we've got these.
Yep.
Kids want to be on this, and that's the way they communicate. Whereas, old school for me and you guys, we had to go to the game to see somebody.
Yep. That's true.
Everybody was at the game.
Yep. No, you're spot on. You're on to something there. And the other thing is, these schools. Okay, let's look and see how exciting you're actually making the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. You go to a Pike Central game, you're going to get entertained.
Oh, man.
But these other, how many schools do you see anymore have a half court shot at halftime? To win a gas card or win something like that. And if you want to see how it works, the Expo Center or not Expo, the Martin County Zip Zone Classic.
Yeah.
They always do a half court shot. Well, they done it one time. This Zip Zone one time, the first game, and if you only knew how many people at the end that I heard sitting there saying, "I'm holding my ticket," and one of our workers came back and said, "Here, you hold my ticket," and he come back wanted his ticket. That's something that creates atmospheres, and it gets people there, gets them excited. You might get that shot if there is TV networks or media outlets there. You might get on TV shooting a half court shot. That stuff helps get people engaged and makes people want to come to games. You just don't see that.
Well, and so many times now you see one set of cheerleaders.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Forget about our cheerleaders are athletes too, and they put a heck of a lot of practice in. And now you don't see a lot where the away teams travel with the cheerleaders. I mean, or the bands. I mean, you got to make it an event, a destination.
Yeah. And if the cheerleaders ain't showing up, then why does people think they should show up?
Right. In 2024, and we talked about this, it has to be an event. It's changed. The landscape's changed. In order to bring a big-time product attendance in, it's got to be energy, enthusiasm, marketing, and, exactly what you guys are saying. You got to bring something else to the table.
And I want to challenge the other media outlets. Show those other athletes as well. You know, I'll brag on Darryl. I don't do it often, so I'm going to give him his prop, okay? But you do a good job of panning to the cheerleaders between plays or panning to the band.
Yeah.
You know, all that is creating the atmosphere in the event, especially if people's watching. And we get a lot of comments that say, keep it on the cheerleaders longer.
Yeah.
Or keep it on this longer.
Yeah.
Boy, we had one cut. Remember the football game we did? We had a away school brought their band coach. Mm-hmm. And what was their only request? Can you make sure you show the band?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. That was what they said. Yeah. So, you know, that was all they wanted to see was the band at halftime.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
And they legitimately mean it. They've got group chats. I know for a fact there's people that's got group chats set up solely dance team and cheerleaders for the D&D deal. They talk about the D&D, us doing our little judging and showing them.
How many people actually knows what a winter guard is now?
Right.
I mean, think of that. You know, I mean, that's what it is, and everything should be, you know, like fans in the stands. You know, listen, if we had the capabilities of it and we was ahead of time, we'd even put kiss cams in and let them do it, you know, these days. But you know, that's what you got to do to help make up for the little stuff that's changed. You know, for people having these phones, for people, you know, find other ways to make it an event and something that people wants to be at.
We got to get our kids off the couch.
Yeah.
We got to get them off the couch and off of the gaming system.
Yes.
And get them out.
Totally.
I'm sorry. Got a ton of comments, but we must have hit a great subject. Sanders Turner said, "Evening, fellas. James G. and Casey said D&D Sports is the best thing that's ever happened to basketball in the mountains. Thank you." Waylon Butcher says, "Thank you, D&D. You're a game changer." Our good friend Thomas Marin says, "Sometimes the home team cheerleaders don't show up."
Yeah.
That just amazes me. Yeah. Robert Wallace says, "Don't forget, you're the only dance judges too."
There you go.
Ronnie Jude says D&D is the best. They show it all at all the sporting events. And Brex, our good friend Brex Kilburn says 100% true.
Yeah, so, you know, that was the thing last night. You know, I mean, that crowd, you know, just panning around, seeing, like, it gave you chills to see Memorial Gymnasium filled again.
That's just a special place.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not. I'm gonna offend somebody, so please don't take it this way. It's not the most modern. It's not the most up to date. It's not got the new warm and fuzzy stuff. But when you walk in there, you know you're going to watch basketball.
But guess what they did do? They built 3 new media decks.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's 2 on each side now instead of having to sit in the railways.
But you know what I'm saying? It's not got a walking track upstairs. It don't have this and it don't have that. But, boy, you got basketball going on when you're there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what you're there for. But Waylon Butcher tuning in, he's a young man that's earned his spot to sit on that bench.
Man, he has improved tremendously.
Yeah, he has. But, you know, Thomas Nairn hit something. And listen, cheerleading coaches, I'll call you out on this. If you don't show up to your home games, that's disgraceful. You know, no team should have to show up and play without cheerleaders there. That's just the way it is. You know, and if your team is out, you know, contending or doing stuff like that, I understand.
Yeah.
Get a JV squad there. You know, give them some limelight. You know, but you know, it's frustrating because you know you want to see these events, these gyms packed, and you know we try our best. You see, when we promote games, we always tell people, you know, guys, come out and join us and be a part of the atmosphere. If you can't make it, you can watch it here on D&D.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, you know, tune into D&D, you know, sit home in your comfortable recliner. No, we want you there with us. So, guys, that's going to bring us to the end of our first segment. We'll be right back here on the D&D Sports Network.
If you're looking for a great selection and a great experience for your next Harley-Davidson, come on down to Mountain State Harley-Davidson here in Del Barton, West Virginia.
We have new 2023 models in stock and ready for delivery. Special financing available.
Or choose pre-owned with one of the largest inventories in the tri-state area with great low prices.
Visit our showroom filled with licensed Harley-Davidson apparel and more.
Don't write that check until you check with us, Mountain State Harley-Davidson, 61 Priest Bottom Road, or visit us online at mountainstatehd.com.
Looking for a great selection, great prices, and a great experience on your next ATV, motorcycle, or side-by-side? Come check out Keefer's Kawasaki.
Our number one goal is to offer you the best power sport experience at a great price.
Like this new 23 Kawasaki Teryx 4 for only $17,999. Before you write that check, check with us. And remember, your adventure starts here at Keefer Kawasaki. Route 44 South, Jerry West Highway in Logan, or visit KeefersPowersports.net.
Start the new year off right by making your health a priority. Kentucky Mountain Health Alliance, Little Flower Clinic, Quantum Healthcare, and East Kentucky Chiropractic can help you do just that. We have a great staff of professionals offering a variety of services like medical, dental, behavioral health, mat program, case management, chiropractic, radiology, and lab testing. Little Flower Clinic offers free transportation for Perry County patients. Call to make an appointment, 487-9505. Quantum Healthcare, 436-0711. And East Kentucky Chiropractic, 487-8255.
Kentucky Farm Bureau agents wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
All right, everybody. This segment is brought to you by Kemper Furniture.
Kemper, Thomas, I tell you, when we was in Hazard yesterday, announcer Eugene Newsom, and his wife went and bought a dining room suit at Kemper Furniture right before the Hazard and Perry game.
Wow, there you go.
And he was blown away. He said that the service was what stood out there.
Well, they're just great people.
Yeah.
And big supporters of all mountain athletes, 14th, 15th region.
Right.
When we moved into the 14th, they said, we got to be a part of this.
That's it. And Coach Keathley used to coach the owner.
Yeah,
So,
Thomas.
yeah.
Small world.
Yeah,
small world.
Thomas Kemper played at Jackson City High School, and when I coached at Lee's College, and then I went to Brevard College in North Carolina, they would ask me to come in and run practices at Jackson City. Kenneth Neese and James Turner was on that staff, by the way, and little Thomas Kemper was a ninth grader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it blows you away. 6 degrees of separation.
Right.
Basketball world, as large as it is, it's small.
It really is.
Yeah. But me and Coach found something we agree on during the timeout. We was talking about the players sitting the bench. Coach, I know you're not a fan of it either. At the end of the day, they got to be some pride, and you got to earn something. You got to make kids earn something and give them a reason to work and, set goals for themselves. If you give kids everything, they're not going to have anything to work for.
Now, I remember, listen, before I moved away to Atlanta and played over at Smyrna High School, it was a huge deal. Junior Newsom was the coach at Betsy Lane, and you got that jersey just to play on the freshman team as an 8th grader.
Yep.
You got a freshman jersey. That meant everything in the world. Derek Newsom, Stevie Joe Johnson, myself, I can't remember who else, but got that freshman jersey. You got to go up and play. And then the freshmen, if they called your name and said, guys, you're going to play JV tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
what?
That's huge. Yeah.
Holy cow. You earn it. You pay the price. You pay your dues. You sweat. And it means more. And then guess what? On that court, practice time, playing time, you're going to get more out of those guys because they care more.
Absolutely. And then the next day when they walk the halls, little Sarah Lou comes over and seen me sitting on the bench last night, Tommy.
You better believe it.
I mean, that's what it's about.
Right.
But, last night I was in Hazard, got to see an amazing atmosphere. The ball games didn't really live up to expectations. Perry Central girls got on, and now I will tell you, Hazard's girls showed fight at the end, and showed a little bit of fight, but not enough to come back. But Perry Central girls, they left right where and it's going to be interesting to see where they fall in our top 10 later in the show. But Coach McLaurin has done a great job having her team ready to play in a big-time atmosphere, and they went and got a road win over crosstown rival Hazard. Now on the boys' side, completely opposite. Hazard dominated Perry Central from the get-go. Perry Central, if I'm not mistaken, they only had 4 points. No, they had 2 points in the first quarter, and Hazard's the best defensive team that I've seen this year.
Is Hazard the best team in the 14th region? Ooh, put you on the spot.
After watching last night, I say absolutely. I did not think that. We've talked about it. I did not think it. But last night, I seen a defensive performance that I haven't seen all year. And the kid, Kenyon Higgins, that kid has developed. He's come along, dominated the game. He may have scored 6 points, but he was the star of the game because nobody was out rebounding him at night. Then Evan Eversole, he only, if I'm not mistaken, he only had 9 or 11 points, but the kid held Kaiser Sloan up until the last 2 minutes. Held Kaiser Sloan to, I'm pretty sure Kaiser had 2 points all the way up, and then he finished with 8 or something. Then Seth Cottle had a great offensive game, but defensively, this Hazard team locked Perry down. Perry, that they didn't know what to do. They did not want to be there. They made it so miserable on Perry. And, you take a star, when you got a star like Ridge Beverly and he don't score to the fourth quarter, that just tells you Trayton Woods, he was, wasn't hit. And Carter Castle, they shut everybody down. And that just tells you the kind of coach Al Holland is. And, for them to do that in that rivalry game, that means something.
Well, listen, Hazard, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, who's top of the 14th region. After watching them play, I probably got to see them 3 times now. I think we've got me and you called Hazard live in living color, and then I've watched them live stream, Thomas. Hazard's legit. Listen, I'm going to take Breathitt County out of it, because I'm going to say Breathitt County with Austin Sperry, still I'm going to give them the nod, but I think Hazard's clear separation from everybody else in the 14th region.
Oh, they're tough. At first, they were undefeated, wasn't buying into the hype. After watching last night, I'm with you, Darryl.
After we seen Breathitt in Hazard, I said Breathitt County's the best team in the 14th. Well, last night I seen a team better than that Breathitt County team, and it was the Hazard Bulldogs.
Collectively.
Yeah, collectively. Yeah. What I thought at first is Hazard's got, they got about 3 players that can play, that can score offensively. Now, them other players have developed. They go about 7, 8 deep right now. And, for them to be able to throw bodies and for you to dominate your rival like that, and your star only score 8 to 12 points. I can't remember what Eversole finished with. Yeah. That he come out that night with one mission, and that was to make Kaiser Sloan's life a living hell.
And he did it.
Yeah, and he did it.
So, that says a lot. I was shocked by the score.
Yeah, and Kaiser got going there at the end, but it was just too late by that point. But and you was at the Prestonsburg Fieldhouse, and we got to see Brevin Ricker break the all-time Menifee County scoring record. 23. It's not on there. The 23, Thomas. Points away, and he come in and he had 23, it seemed like, early in the second quarter, Coach.
Oh, yeah, you better believe it. Brevin Ricker, I was saying Ricker early and often, Maestro. That kid lit Prestonsburg up early, and it didn't slow down. They did a better job in the second half, but first half, kid had 24 points. Midway through the second quarter, broke the all-time scoring record, 1,700 plus points now. That kid's legit. In Menifee County, they have 2-3 guys. They're on a good night when everybody's playing well. That team can play with most anybody outside that top 3 or 4 in the 16th region. They played really well. They played well last night.
Yeah, he broke Travis Trimble's record, 1,719 points, and he came in 23 away. I think he ended with.
Yeah, he had 35 to end the night. So had an unbelievable night.
But Prestonsburg, down Brian Halbert, one of their key pieces, integral rebounders, defenders, and then Ethan Farrell right before the game. Decision came down that he wasn't going to play, so down 2 of their top 6-7 people, and for them to pull that win out, that was something that I didn't think they had in them. I thought Menifee County was going to pull away, especially when they fell down 6 to 8 points in the fourth quarter.
Listen, it was a battle back and forth early on. Here's what I'll tell you, Darryl McCoy. Unbelievable job by Prestonsburg. You've talked about it a lot on air. You said, sometimes at the end of quarters, it get a little shaky. Every single quarter possession, and then that last 3.5 minutes in the fourth quarter, it looked like Johnson Central had Kevin May up calling the game. So he was having flashbacks to that double overtime at the Expo Center, running the clock down, and big performance by Mason Stidham, getting a starting nod. He had 19 points, filled in for some scoring punch from Ethan Farrell out. Braxton Keathley had 27 points and 12 rebounds, Darryl McCoy. Yep. Big performance and 3 steals. Jackson Estridge got some foul trouble early, and it kind of changed the dynamic in that first half a little bit because Estridge had been tick, 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 tick. Guess what? He had been scoring the ball, right? Yeah. So that took another scoring punch out of the lineup at times.
Well, they probably should have been out 3 people because he was Snow White. It took everything he had just to show up last night, and so they was virtually down 3 people. Even though you can't make excuses if you play, but that showed a lot that Prestonsburg was able to dig down and get that win. Connor Napier came up big.
He did 19 points. That's what I was about to say, Thomas Rainey. This is his third straight big performance. Connor Napier played really, really well. Played a ton of minutes, more than he has in quite a while. So he had 19 points, done a tremendous job, knocked down shots, and credit Coach Parsley. He did a great job managing the game throughout the entire process. Managed the game, especially fourth quarter time.
Light years better.
Got tons of comments. Our good friend Kyle Maggart says D&D easily number 1. Billy Chambers watching from
West Union, Ohio.
Billy's one of our all-time favorites. And you were speaking of him, famer Brian Halbert, best coverage around. And our good friend Scotty Dingus let us know that Belfry 40, Prestonsburg 35.
Wow!
At the Expo.
Oh man,
I did not see that.
And boy, we got you good friend here. Bryce Hoskins just can't wait to get back on the call with you fellas.
That's right.
He done a tremendous job, Thomas, filling in the Breathitt County job, joining us on the mic. That's something I would like to have Bryce on set one night.
Oh,
I mean, because you talking about, I was blown away with his intelligence and his knowledge of the game. Like, he could go back and tell you, okay, well, who won the district in '98? He knew that right off the bat.
Wow.
So that's what Bryce plays at UPike. We're going to have to get him up here on the show.
Let's bring him down. We got Bobby Love in the house. We'll see this guy tomorrow night. Mr. Jalen Rigdon's watching. And all the way from Lexington, Kentucky, our good friend Connor Fugit tuning in.
The champ, Bobby Love.
Now, is there anybody else, Thomas?
And our favorite catbird.
Yeah. I've got 2 things off those comments. One, Bobby Love. I hear there's Bobby Love's gonna get mad at me. I hear Pike Central may have a reintroduction of a player tomorrow night. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Bobby Love, we'll see. Bobby Love, probably pretty excited about that. Now, the second thing, I've noticed Waylon Butcher tuning in. and Brian Halbert tuning in. I wonder if they're just, obviously D&D's are their favorite sports network, but I wonder if they're tuning in sometimes to see if me and Darryl McCoy is going to get into it.
I'm sure
it'll probably happen.
I'm sure the maestro can bring up some topics here that will get us going. So, guys, that's going to bring us to our next commercial break. When we come back, we're going to name the Double Quick Players of the Week. Come right back and join us here on the Grind Session.
Looking for a new pharmacy? Howard Family Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service and convenient drive-thrus at both locations.
Come visit us at Castle's Jewelry in Co-Run today. We got a history of making sure our clients' needs and wants are met. Castle's Jewelry has a large selection of rings, necklaces, bracelets, and more. Remember, friends come and go. Jewelry lasts forever.
For all your custom ATV and UTV needs, call GFAB at 606-639-2029 or visit us on Facebook. We specialize in custom cages, rock slides, and bumpers. Call today. Let's go riding.
Hi, everybody. Dave Baker here for Citizens Bank in Kentucky. Do you want to love your car even more? How about putting extra cash in your pocket each month by refinancing with new low rates at CBK? It is fast. It's easy. All you have to do is log on to wearecitizens.bank.
Kentucky Mountain Health Alliance is excited to announce a new partnership with Quantum Healthcare. Quantum continues to offer the same care at their location at 210 Black Gold Boulevard in Hazard. Quantum is open 24 hours per day with numerous providers and services available. They accept Medicaid and most major insurances. Call area code 606-436-0711 to schedule an appointment today. Kentucky Mountain Health Alliance and Quantum Healthcare. Together, we make a great team.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
Back live here at Glenn Martin Hammond's office in Coal Run. If you're wanting a lawyer that will get the job done, come to Glenn Martin Hammond because he will get the judgment that you're looking for and the outcome you deserve. Thomas, who's this segment sponsored by?
Our good friends at Logan Bank and Trust.
Logan Bank and Trust right now, guys. If you need a loan, they're very easy to deal with. They got people that will get the job done and make sure you leave there with the loan you're looking for. That's Logan Bank and Trust. Coach, as we're coming into this segment here, we was talking off air. I was in the community today, and we was interviewing. One of the former athletes that we covered that, we won't release right now, but, we got a former athlete that will be joining the D&D staff.
Yeah.
And, but I had a mother come up to me and say that she went off on me with my family there too.
Wow.
But it's crazy. How people, sometimes you think like, okay, the crowds ain't as big, they ain't showing up, people don't care as much. But then you go to the store and you run into somebody's kid that you don't talk about, and you realize then, hey, it still means as much as it ever did.
Exactly. You better believe it. You're going to, and how much this man hears, how much I get. Thomas Rainey, I get messages inundated in my mailbox. It's crazy.
They leave me alone.
Yeah.
They must like me. I don't know. But no, I get it. But I do read the comments on the page. I mean, there's just some parents that's just over the top. That's all I'll say, Darryl.
Yeah, listen. At the end of the day, one thing I will challenge every parent to be is realistic. And that's that. And I agree. Listen, one thing that we do here, if we could talk about every kid, we would. But no, we wouldn't, because we don't believe in that. We talk about the ones that deserve to get talked about. If you work hard and you deserve, or you accomplish something, then you're going to get talked about. We've said from day one, this is not an everybody gets a trophy atmosphere here.
Right.
We're not going to cater to that kind of atmosphere. But you do feel bad a lot of times, because there's so many. Our coverage area is so big now. There is a lot of kids that deserve to be talked about that we don't get to.
Yeah, that's true. But going back to what Darryl said, at the end of the day, a lot of parents, and I'll see a lot of parents post, I'm tired of the trophy society, everybody getting a trophy. But a lot of times it's the same parents that exactly believe that mentality, that everybody should be talked about just the same, everybody should be hyped up just the same, everybody should be rewarded just the same. That's not the way it is. Hard work pays off, and D&D Sports Network, believe me, more than anybody, in depth knows these athletes better than anyone. So if you're tuning into a broadcast, you'll hear, like last night from Menifee County, I'm Caden Lawson. Right, we know exactly where Caden Lawson's from. Darryl McCoy knows his dad. I know his dad. I know his mom, his stepdad, all the way over at Menifee County, where he's from, Mullins Elementary. So listen, you get a different vibe with D&D, because believe me, you get an in-depth knowledge of athletes and much more than what you would anywhere else.
Well, we're invested in these kids at the end of the day, because we want these kids to come back and invest in the mountains.
Right.
So if you show that kind of passion to them, they'll come back and show that kind of passion to their home area.
That's right.
But speaking of kids that don't always get talked about as much as they should, is a kid like Ike Meddings from Wayne, Thomas. That kid, as Ike Meddings against Tug Valley the other night, they lost, but at the end of the day, Ike Meddings ended up having an unbelievable night. He had the night before, he ended up having like 9 threes. There's cases to where these kids don't get talked about in the area, because our area is so large. That's why, to be honest, I've always talked, and I know it's something that we've got to talk about too. But I think there needs to be maybe a West Virginia representative on the show. I think that would be a thing that would curb some of that.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I mean, and it really kills me when we release these top tens. I know, because I always hear somebody, well, we should be on there. Well, we should be on there. And I go back, well, who do you take off?
Yeah.
Who do you take off? When you're covering, think about this, almost Lexington to almost Charleston, West Virginia.
Yep.
That's a big area.
Yep.
Every high school in between, just about.
Lexington East, Huntington, Charleston South, pretty much.
Think about that.
Yep.
That's crazy. And you're only picking 10, and then you're mad because your team's not in the top 10.
Right.
Yep. Like last week, we heard all kinds of stuff. Over the middle school rankings, that normally gets people going more than anything, the middle school rankings. But at the end of the day, it was our first middle school rankings that we put out. And you're going to get frustrated. Don't forget, too, that these two states start at different times too. So Kentucky's probably got 30 games in the time that West Virginia has got 4 in. But it's definitely interesting. But middle school's something that we've seen for a while. It's become a booming business. Beforehand, how many people cared about middle school before D&D?
No, listen, we brought it to the forefront, and it was kind of that building. It's like, I always use equate wrestling to it. It's just like building towards WrestleMania, building towards that county tournament. When you talk about basketball, at least on that side, Darryl, like just every week it seemed to grow.
I'll go back and I'll always look at that Dorton tournament, and to see that was a situation that, of why D&D is so valuable. They had so many people there, they had to push people to the lunchroom, and they set up a TV screen in there. So, and they were selling tickets to go watch D&D in the lunchroom. Think of that. I mean, that is wild. Middle school, because of middle school and the spotlight that we put on middle school, You know who Andrew Terry is. You know who Dakota Dalton is. You know who Grayson Sanders is. You know who all these.
The young buck.
Yeah, Wesley Buck. You know who he is. Think about it. That's something that we're more proud of than anything is the spotlight that we put on middle school and girls basketball. Those are the two that really grew from this. But Thomas, that brings us to the Double Quick Player of the Week. Who are the Double Quick Players of the Week?
Double Quick Player of the Week. Get it on the double. Double Quick. Well, hang on, I about popped up a football one. Hang on just a second. Our good friends from Double Quick. Here we go. Well, I'm going to enjoy this one.
Yeah, you will. I thought you would.
Yeah, I didn't. See, you don't know. I see this when you all see it. First off, for the boys, it's Xander Carter from Ashland. Team went 3-0, 22.7 points a game, 5.7 rebounds. Unbelievable performance in the AIT, and he was named tournament MVP. Yep. By the way, for me, this one's special. Miss Sophie Atkins from Lawrence County. Got to coach this young lady on my AAU team. Mm-hmm. Team went 3-0, and I'm not taking no credit because she was a baller before I got her. 3-0, 24.7 points a game, 8.7 rebounds a game down in the Carolina Invitational at Charleston. But I'll say right now, Trent taught her everything she knows.
Well, it couldn't be happier for Sophie, because a lot of people, the thing that I like is, Sophie ain't tried to be the next Kinsley Felton.
Right.
She's being Sophie Atkins.
Right.
And Lawrence County really gelled over this last trip. And, I think Lawrence County has, I thought it was a 4-team race there for a bit in the 58th, but Lawrence County's clearly in that driver's seat in that 58th.
I think so. And I was actually talking to Coach Kidd yesterday, and I said, look, I think Lawrence County here, and I think everybody else, I think you could, depending on what night, but Lawrence County, separated themselves.
And I didn't think that before the year. I did not. If you was talking 58th, I would not have said there was that big of a disparity on the girls' side. But I agree. I think Lawrence County's head and shoulders above the other three right now.
I agree with you. I think Floyd Central's playing better and better, but they're not winning the ball. They're dropping some games that they should win. And then, for instance, we got to see Betsy Lane down in Tennessee. Yeah. Betsy Lane was up double digits 13 in the fourth quarter on a team, Hampton, Tennessee, that went to the Final Four the year before. They was up 13 on them in the fourth quarter. I mean, think of that. They just couldn't finish it off. But that tells you where, the potential of Corey Thacker's Betsy Lane squad.
Well, you get them in the half court, Betsy Lane's going to excel, right, Darryl? Yep. They got size. They got people who can score around the blocks. I think where they struggle is full court, and Hampton took advantage of that, Maestro, is they pressed Betsy Lane, turnover, and that could it be just a situation where foul trouble and things like that. Betsy Lane played a good game, but that press got to them. But when you get Betsy Lane in a half-court game, they're really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think that district. I still think that any one of the bottom three can knock off the top one.
Yeah, I do too.
But Thomas, the other thing, we talked about it in depth. Me and Coach did. You got to be happy to see we got to cover Johnson Central, and we got to see a ton of your East Kentucky Bearcats on that squad.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Pikeville's got a problem to deal with, and it's called Johnson Central.
Well, going in, we thought, this was Pikeville's year. Nobody else going to touch them. It's Pikeville. But somebody forgot to tell the girls down south or north on 23 all about that, because they've got a load of talent.
Johnson Central, only undefeated team left in the mountains. They're playing tonight.
Well, they're not undefeated anymore.
What happened?
They dropped one, I'm pretty sure, didn't they?
I think they're still undefeated. They're playing tonight. Could be, because I can't remember who it is, but it's going to be a tough contest. I'll say this, and I know right now RPI don't mean a whole lot, right, Darryl? But they are ranked top 6 in the state in RPI.
Yeah, that's
Pikeville's number 4.
Like, do I agree with that? No.
Do you agree with Pikeville number 4? Maybe.
I'd have to see who's ahead of them,
Yeah.
but I still think that's probably
Little
steep.
high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's probably steep. But who knows? Pikeville does play a tough schedule.
Yeah.
So but this Johnson
They're
Central
legit.
squad. Coach Hicks has this team playing, man. Defensively, they
Wow.
smother you.
Yeah.
And if you can take and offensively, if they can, he plays 10 to 12 people.
Yeah.
You get a play if you're on that roster.
Yeah, normally I'm not a fan of that, right? But he's pulling them in and out because that skill development, Thomas Rainey, that he does day in and day out, you can see where it's paid dividends.
And I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but they're all the same player.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look from the point guard to the post, they're all the same build, the same type, the same speed, the same everything. They just remind you. I remember we were short a player, so the girl said, "Hey, we'll bring somebody else."
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm gonna have to adjust to a new player. And she got there, and I watched her warm up. I said, "Well, she's just like the one that didn't show up this week."
Yeah.
But they're impressive, and they are 12-0.
Yeah.
12-0.
See, Taylor McKenzie is having an amazing year. Caleb McKenzie's having a great year. Becca Wright, she done a fabulous job handling the rock, putting the pressure defensively on the other team's best player. And then, you take and you look at the little 8th grader they got coming, Carly Stanley up.
Oh, yeah.
Johnson Central's going to be good for many years to come.
Going to be really good. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think Becca Wright is the key to that group.
Yeah, I think
you're spot on after watching them.
She is defensively. I loved having her out front, ball pressure.
Yeah,
I'd say Becca just handled it, and she would just press and press and press. And she controls the tempo.
Yeah, does a nice job.
I'll never forget the time she struggled a couple possessions, and Kean Works was sitting the bench. He said, "Take her out, coach." And he said, "Let me talk to her." And I took her out, and Kean talked to her, and he said, "She's ready to go."
Mm-hmm.
She came back in a completely different player.
Yeah.
And all I heard him say on the bench was, "This is your team. You control the tempo. You tell everybody when we go."
Well, she does that with this Johnson Central team.
Yeah. It was just a great environment to be in.
Outstanding and fun team to watch. Guys, that's going to bring us to our next commercial break here. When we come back, the Maestro is going to read some of your comments. If you got questions, make sure you put them in the comment section below. That way we can answer your questions as the show moves on too. But when we come back, Thomas's favorite part of the show, Girls Top 10. We'll be right back. If you're looking for a friendly and fun atmosphere to enjoy your daily cuisine, come to Cheech's Pizza in Lenore, West Virginia. Cheech's Pizza has world-renowned cheese sticks, delicious pizza, and the best subs in the pizza and pasta game. Don't forget to take advantage of our milkshake shop located inside. Bring your family down to meet ours. We are the place that treats you like family from the second you pull in the parking lot. We look forward to seeing you here at Cheech's Pizza. If you was pushed out of the area because of loss of work in the coal industry, look no longer. Jim Marr is here for you. Jim Marr is now hiring for all positions in the coal field. Stop by their offices in Logan, West Virginia or in Wheeling, West Virginia and apply today. If you've recently had a loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones. Come on down to Valley Pharmacy, where the staff treats you like family from the second you walk through the door. Valley Pharmacy will take care of all your pharmaceutical needs. Valley Pharmacy wants to wish the Shelby Valley Wildcats the best of luck in tonight's action.
MGC Supply is your complete source for drainage and erosion control products. MGC Supply also sells services and installs Cummins generators. MGC Supply sells and delivers limestone gravel for businesses and homeowners. MGC Supply is your solution supplier and is proud to sponsor all the teams in Eastern Kentucky. 2590 U.S. Highway 23 South Pottville, Kentucky. 41501. Give them a call today at 606-433-0077. Or you can call them at 606-794-6765.
Back here live at Glenn Martin Hammond's office, we got Kevin Keathley to my right. I'm Darryl McCoy, and we got the maestro, Thomas Rainey, on the boards. Thomas, who is this segment sponsored by?
Well, you caught me in between lower thirds. Hang on just a second.
Well, I'll tell you who it's sponsored by. Made to Crave. Made to Crave right now. Authentic Mexican cuisine. I don't know if you guys ate there, but if you're wanting a healthy choice, a quick, fast food, healthy type place, go to Made to Crave because you're in and out and you get to eat healthy.
Well, Darryl McCoy, listen, I'll go there, take Braxton, and I get the steak and rice bowl, white rice, steak and white rice. I get some soup. Well, they call it. Get the pinto beans on it as well, and then I get some cheese. And man, oh man, that steak and rice bowl at Made to Crave. You're not going to want to listen. If you haven't been there, go check it out.
See, and they got locations in Prestonsburg and in Corinth.
Yeah.
So as we're moving on, Thomas, we got questions and comments coming in.
Yeah, let's check out some comments real quick. Darryl always catches me. I swear you do. Give me just a second.
And as the maestro's finding that, Coach, as you're sitting here looking, Glenn Martin Hammond's office, when we leave here, that may be where we head down to Made to Crave.
Yeah.
There you go. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Bobby Villager says, tell Coach go ahead and spill it if he wants to. We'll do that in the boys section. Brex Kilburn says, thank y'all for all you've done for my boys Noah Kilburn and Corey Flincham. Opal Everso said, love watching you guys. Keep up the good work. Josh Dameron I think he doesn't agree with me. He's Haley Dameron's dad says, we shall see. It's early, I guess, on my comment about March and Head and Shoulders. Bryce Hoskins says, at this point in the season, who are your top 5 boys team in the 15th?
Well, I tell you what, my power rankings, not rankings,
what you believe to be the best,
the 5 best teams.
Yeah,
I think that I still think when it's said and done, Martin County is number 1. I think their 2 wings just too good. I think their scoring ability. I think McKenzie. What's the big fellow's name?
Maynard. Sturgill. Yeah,
Sturgill. And then they've added Devin Maynard in that lineup. You take either one of them Maynard boys at the 4 spot, and then I think ultra competitive. Listen, I hope and pray that they get Dre Duff back. That's everybody wants to see him back. But now you got experience because even if he does come back, you got Peyton Davis who led them to a 3-1 record up in Vegas. So you got a kid that's got experience. Plus you got one of the most dynamic players in the region in Dre Duff if he comes back. So I think they're going to be the better team. I think them, Pikeville, Pike Central, McGolphin with Aiden Barnett. He's been missing, and then. My 5th team be Floyd Central.
Yeah, I think that's right. I'll look real quick. I'm going to go Martin County, Pikeville, Pike Central, and then I'm probably going to sneak Floyd Central ahead of McGolphin County, and then I'll put McGolphin County and then Betsy Lane at that 6th spot.
Do I get to go?
Yeah.
I like McGolphin County. I do. I've covered them twice. I like McGolphin County 1. I think Martin County 2, Pikeville 3.
Oh.
Pike Central, Floyd Central. But I will say this, and I told somebody this today. I think any given time, any one of those 5 teams can beat another one. I think that's it could be a toss of a coin. I think 6 through 12 is about the same competition.
Yeah.
And then I think they could surprise and beat any one of those top 5 if the right situation happened.
And you're spot on with that. We talked about the Cantrell ratings and when they come out, and I think he got the top 10 right. And then I think there's 2 right outside the top 10 that could beat the top, 5 to 10. And, with a chance to beat, one of the, top 5. And then I think then you got a bottom 4. I think it's in 3 tiers right now.
And not to go, because I know we got to go on, but I'll say this. If you go by rankings, though, you'd have to put Lawrence County in the top 3 if you went by rankings.
Well, somebody's mentioned that. I'm going to finish the comments real quick. Somebody mentioned, Cindy McCutcheon said, I never miss my grandson's game, but if I have no choice, I had to miss lately. Thank you for airing the games, and thanks to the sponsors for making it possible. And Bryce Hopkins says, well, a lot of diversity in those rankings. He said, don't sleep on that Lawrence County bunch.
Yeah.
I agree.
But he watched it.
I want to say this. I think, and boy, I'm going to upset some people, I think they may have the best coach in the region.
Oh, Thomas usually not going out on that far of a limb. Wow.
I like Chandler.
Yeah.
I do, man.
Wow.
Because I think he gets more out of what he has.
He's kind of the Rick Pitino of the 15th region. He's give me. I think I've said it for years. He's definitely in my top 3.
Yeah, you got Tommy McKenzie, you got Elijah Sloans, Elijah Justice. I get that, but I said they've had a lot of talent to work with too.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And I'm not saying there's not a lot of talent in Lawrence County. Please, Lawrence County fans, I'm not saying that. But I think he gets them to play to a higher level.
Well, he's got some talent now because Gunnar Woods is back in town.
Yeah, exactly right.
I think there's a lot of trust with that coaching staff, with the players, and I think he makes them believe. He got good talent, as Thomas mentioned, but I think he makes them believe, look, everybody on this floor is a superstar, and he gives them that confidence. And you know how that is, Maestro. When you give those guys that confidence, they play at a different level.
That brings us to the girls' top 10, Thomas. Let's see, as Maestro always says, ladies first.
Ladies first. Here we go. All right. Number 10, Perry Central. We saw them last night in action. Fleming County popping in at number 9. The Lady Miners from over at Mingo Central at 8. Spring Valley at number 7. Ashland sitting at number 6. Johnson Central at number 5. Boyd County sitting at number 4. Russell at number 3. Pikeville number 2. And sitting atop the D&D Sports Mountain Top 10, Wayne. Others receiving votes, Lawrence County, Martin County, Letcher Central, Paintsville, Chapmanville, Knott Central, Pike Central, Logan, and Leslie County. Where did we go wrong?
Darryl McCoy will listen, and I don't have a lot to base this on other than record and what I've kind of seen on scores. But I'm moving Johnson Central up a couple of spots, and I tell you who to watch is Paintsville and that other receiving votes. I think they're really, really good.
Well, Paintsville. The thing is, I thought Paintsville was may have jumped in and been that second team in that 57th district, but they've dropped some games here of late.
Coaching changes.
They've had a coaching change, but at the end of the day, there's very few teams that has 2 players the caliber of Kylie Kenner and Amy Priest.
And then Vanoy, right?
Yeah, and then you got KK Vanoy. You take that trio right there. I would put that against any trio in the region.
Yeah, really good.
But I would not have them in the top 10. I don't think they're. I think outside looking in, I think Lawrence County has a case. Chapmanville's girls lost some. Logan's girls lost some. Martin County, we seen them. They struggled down in Tennessee. Yeah. Going back to the Martin County that struggled to score the rock. Yeah. Back to them days. But at the end of the day, Martin County will be there in the thick of things at the end because they got a legend on the sidelines. But sitting here just looking inside the top 10, I would still have Ashland in front of Johnson Central. myself. I think, I think that Wayne and Pikeville are the two best.
There's no doubt. I would love to see that matchup.
No, I'd do anything to see them two teams meet, and then.
And it's no disrespect. I mean, it's not, but they're both that good. Bryce tuned in and said, "Wow, that Wayne bunch must be tough because Pikeville's girls are good year in and year out. Yeah. They are that good."
Yeah. This Wayne team, I'll go as far as to say, maybe the second best girls team that I've covered, next to Huntington St. Joe with Dina Darryl and Paige Shy and the Roberts girl.
Yeah, wow.
They got the two Atkins sisters. Unbelievable. They're
juniors this year?
Yeah, they're juniors. There was triplets. They got their brother plays basketball. But they're a set of triplets, and then you got that little 8th grader, JC Salmons. Then they got role players, players that they call role players, but would be stars on other teams surrounding them. This team right here is loaded. I would be thoroughly surprised. It would shock me if they don't win a state title this year.
Wow.
Yeah. We get stuff from them all the time.
Yeah.
It's a different player seems setting some record.
Yeah. I mean, all the time. And but then Spring Valley, that's a team a lot of people don't know about, but because they're in that Huntington area, they get lost there. But Spring Valley, I mean, they could be any one of them top 2 to 6. Wayne's the only team that I say on there that I would call unbeatable.
Yeah.
I mean, it would take a Alice State team, I think, to knock them off. And then Russell, Boyd, and Ashland, them three I see about the same.
Yeah.
They all beat up on each other right there. It's hard to get a judge on, where the power rankings lie in them three because they're all right there together. They're all that good. Boyd County with Audrey Biggs and crew. Then you got Shaylin Steele there at Russell, and then Kenley Woods there at Ashland. They all got a superstar on their team. So I would put Ashland ahead, but Johnson Central jumped Ashland. Ashland fell actually from 3 down to 6, and then I think they've dropped 2 or 3, but it was the powerhouse teams here over Christmas break, and then Martin County dropped out. Mingo Central, I still want to see them, but the team that surprised me was Fleming County jumping up in the top 10. They're a team that I think they've only lost 1 or 2 games.
That's the only team I didn't know a lot about.
Yeah, that's me.
So I'd have to really look at them. But that's a solid top, 15 or 20. There.
Yeah, and then Perry Central, we got to see them. I seen them last night. We got to see them the other day. Perry Central, they're a team that, looks like they're in the driver's seat in that 14th region right now.
Hey, Thomas, can you check Johnson Central's schedule, see if they play Pikeville?
I know Paintsville's got them. But I will check.
It seems like they do.
Now, we're not taking nothing away from Pikeville. I mean, I know we've got some people upset, I'm sure, but Pikeville plays probably playing the toughest schedule you're going to see. And the only team they've lost to is Christ the King or something, I think.
Right, out of state, is that right?
Yeah, out of state team. I think they lost when they went up to New York.
Yeah, went up to New York.
Yeah, but they still got at the end of the day they got the 2 best players in the region.
I agree with that. No, they've got they go to Knott Central. They go to Paintsville. I'm trying to look at teams out.
Yeah.
They go to Corbin.
Ooh, that'd
be a good one. And then Lawrence County comes to them, and they open up in the All-A against Paintsville.
Wow, that'll be a good one. So, question being though, without Pikeville, it'll be interesting to see if Johnson Central, and most likely not with Paintsville twice on their schedule still, right? Twice on their schedule still, Paintsville and then Lawrence. I wonder if they can. Is it possible that they run the table until they get to district and go undefeated?
See, and in that case, I'm always the type. I want to drop a game.
Yeah.
I don't want to go in the region tournament.
Johnson Central.
I'm sorry, I looked at Pikeville. I apologize.
No, I was wanting to see if Johnson Central. Yeah.
Let me see if Johnson Central. I apologize, Coach.
Yeah.
Okay, Johnson Central has left. They got McGoffin, Paintsville, Martin, Shelby Valley. Letcher Central will be a tough game. Got Rowan County will be a tough game. Then they go to Lawrence County, so that one will be tough. They've got some tough.
Yeah, they got a tough schedule. Yeah. So they're top half loaded on their schedule here. This is going to be it'll be tough for them to run the table.
Yeah, and like you said though, it'd probably be better for them to drop one.
Yeah, I want to drop one. I would rather it happen. In maybe district championship or or maybe toward the last game of the regular season. But I want to go in the region with a blemish on my record, to let the girls know you are beatable.
So does the region really? I mean, does the district really matter now with the super?
That's
region?
true. That's right. I guess, and again, I've heard different formats, 2 different ways it's supposed to be played out. But how does that work, seating wise? Does it, at the end of the day, does it really matter?
Are they going to opt out? Are they going to take what's those games they take in the pros?
Right.
What is
load management.
Yeah, load management. They're going to take a load management day.
Right. I seen that the other day, by the way. A high school team over outside of Louisville rested their guys for load. They called it load management. And of the time that they did it, a college coach showed up to watch a player, and they set him on the bench. Unbelievable.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that.
Going back to Johnson Central schedule, Brown County's 10-4, so they've got some tough teams.
Yeah, Rowan County can definitely. They can definitely knock them off. You know, and they got. I think that's Haven Ford's little sister that plays for them now.
Yeah.
But and it's interesting. The thing that I like. With NIL, you're going to see things happen more and more. Like the thing that I like, a lot of the Kentucky NIL people put a clause in there that the football players had to play in the bowl game. Yeah. So Kentucky got an overwhelming amount of players playing in the bowl game this year because it was part of the NIL deal.
Right.
I hope all businesses do that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. So
last look there at the Mountain Top 10 for the girls.
We're going to jump out. When we come back, we will have the boys' Mountain Top 10. Come right back and join us here on the Grind Session.
Hello, I'm Dr. Alan Baldwin here at Maynard Chiropractic. For nearly 20 years, Maynard Chiropractic has been the gold standard of chiropractic care in Eastern Kentucky. We have 2 convenient locations in East Point, Kentucky on US 23 on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Tuesday and Thursday in Rock City and Paintsville. So give us a call here at Maynard Chiropractic at 606-886-3737 and schedule your appointment with Better Health today.
Here at Appalachian Medical, our team has extensive experience in dealing with respiratory disease. That's why we specialize in respiratory products and disease management. We want to bring our knowledge and know-how to help patients live a healthier life. Appalachian Medical was developed by clinical professionals. We have more than 30 years of combined experience in respiratory disease management, case management, critical care, and more. Our respiratory therapists are skilled and compassionate. With offices in Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, let us be the ones you trust with your medical health care.
This is Bruce Walters from Bruce Walters Kia. By now you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Stop by and see Joe Stepp at J&B Auto Sales. Right now, guaranteed credit approval. No credit, bad credit, good credit, it don't matter. Guaranteed credit approval 100% right now at J&B Auto Sales. Stop by and see them today in DeBoard, Kentucky. Crum Funeral Home in DeBoard, Kentucky is committed in giving the highest quality funeral services for a fair and reasonable price. If you don't want to have to deal with heavy financial obligations during your grieving process, come see us at Crumb's Funeral Home. Our staff is ready to serve you.
Back here at Glenn Martin Hammond's office, we got my trusty co-host, Kevin Keathley, to my right. I'm Darryl McCoy, and we got Thomas the Maestro Rainey back, from a sickness a couple weeks ago.
Well, I tell you what, we've woke up the crew. They're all excited. We must have made somebody mad. We're good at that. Let's see. Comments I got. Corey Thacker says they don't play, talking about Johnson Central and Paintsville, or Johnson Central and Pikeville. Robert Wallace says I would go watch Central and Pikeville 5 days a week. I agree. That would be a battle right there. Yep. Good friend Jonathan Patrick, what's your all's thoughts on McGoffin just getting a chance to watch? McGoffin boys. I picked them number 1 in the region, just to let you know, Jonathan.
Thomas is really high on them. I think at the end of the day, and I think it's proved to be true. I think that they got the front runner or the best player in the region in Aiden Barnett. But I want to see. If they're supporting cast, it's not if the Whitakers and Barnett, we always know what you're going to get from them 3. But if them other 2 kids and then the first 2 off the bench produce, then McGoffin County can win the region tournament.
Well, here's the deal, right? Aiden Barnett averaging 27.6 points per game, leading the 15th region. You got a offensive weapon that can carry you against any team. On the defensive end, though, Maestro, here's my problem, right? I've watched them 5 times this year, twice against Prestonsburg. They're going to have to get better guarding dribble penetration, Darryl McCoy. They give up a ton of dribble penetration. They give up a ton of buckets. Prestonsburg, Keathley got to the rim at will both times that they played during the summer and at the zip zone. And same goes for the other 3 games I watched. They don't guard and help well, Thomas Rainey. They're going to have to improve in that area if they want to win the region.
Their weak spot is transition defense.
Yeah, that too.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
I agree. Tim Bolton said, of course, E.B. Walters is coming back. Will be a huge help for Pikeville. Let's see. And Timmy Hall said it was Frederick Douglass. That must have been
the player set out
management, and their parents were upset. And Scotty Dinger says Belfry Pirates and Betsy Lane girls basketball game Saturday night.
There you go. He's filling us in there and when you sit here and look at where they was talking about E.B. Waters, it's going to be neat to see how Pikeville plays once he's back. Because he's part of our D&D Mountain Elite team, and I know his capabilities. That kid could go and start on any team in this region. I don't know if he'll start at Pikeville, but he could start at any team in this region. And whatever Elijah Justice decides to do with him, he's going to be a huge help for this Pikeville squad. He's going to give them more options. So whether it's playing coming in for Fitzer or whether it's playing him beside Fitzer, he's going to have an opportunity to lift Pikeville to a different level.
And depth, no matter what, whether he starts or whether he comes off the bench, depth all of a sudden it helps.
This segment is sponsored by Conley Brothers Giovanni's Pizza.
Conley Brothers Giovanni's. Right now, Conley Brothers Giovanni's has great deals on pizza and pasta, on all your pizza and pasta needs. They got that new drive-through coach. And listen, go try their pizza challenge. You get a dandy picture on Facebook if you can finish that big pizza with a chosen partner.
Me and Darryl, we've talked about it.
And he delivered pizza, Thomas, up to the booth during the Christmas tournament.
Unbelievable.
He personally brought it to us.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So you tell me Corey Conley don't care about mountain athletes.
That's exactly right. That's what we got the best sponsors, I'm telling you.
We do. So as we'll get to that later here, Donnie. We'll get to the All-A predictions. But right now, let's go to the boys' Mountain Top 10.
All right, here we go. Boys Mountain Top 10 coming up. All right, number 10, Tug Valley. Number 9, Lawrence County. Number 8, Rowan County. Number 7, Morgan County. Number 6, Pikeville. Number 5, Breathitt County. Number 4, Knott County. 3 is Boyd County. 2 is Hazard. 1, setting atop the D&D Sports Mountain Top 10, Ashland. Others receiving votes: Paintsville, Martin County, Logan, Magoffin County, Fleming County, Johnson Central, Floyd Central, Pike Central, Chapmanville.
My goodness. Others receiving votes could very well be a top 5 team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you sit and look at that, there's a couple things that disturb me there. I think that Chapmanville, I would still have in front of Logan because they beat them head to head.
Right.
That I would have that there. Obviously the thing, both the two teams that we picked to be the top in the 15th region, both of them are out of the top 10.
Right.
So, and when you look here, only 2 15th region teams represented in the top 10.
And no surprise in there. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, power rankings, 2 different things. It's based on record a lot of times and how you're playing at the moment.
What have you done for me lately?
And that's where I go, my deal, obviously Breathitt County. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, this ain't some little thing done, just made up when we come in here and we just throw it out there. But I see it for the first time here. Breathitt County obviously dropped because of those 2 losses at the Christmas Classic, minus Austin Sperry. So Breathitt County fans, I know you're like, wait a minute, what happened? Well, the team dropped a couple.
Well, and I got a problem. Boyd County got blew out at Pikeville.
Yeah.
Pikeville blew them out. It didn't.
Pike Central
beat them 2.
Beat them by 2.
I think I don't think they're a 3. I'm sorry. I don't.
Well,
and then I've got, like I said, you've got Paintsville. If you're going by the others receiving votes, the numbers of votes they received, you got Paintsville over Magoffin, and I just don't think that's correct either.
Well, the thing looking at Paintsville, Paintsville went on a 6-game winning streak and nearly won the Mountain Scoreboy Classic. Lost to Avon, who is they're a dominant team, and so and we've seen them in the last 2 weeks. This Paintsville team, they're really tough right now. Now, do I think that they're better than Martin County, McGough? No, but I do think that in the thick of things, I think them going on, they're playing really good basketball right now. They're getting their big guy involved, and this team, you can see them starting to build momentum. They've won 6 of the last 7.
Yeah, we had a chance to watch them at the Prestonburg Christmas Classic, and East Carter had a chance, though, back and forth game, Thomas Rainey. East Carter had a chance to win at the buzzer, got a good look, didn't get it. Paintsville ended up winning that one by 1, but they ended up, if I'm not mistaken, Paintsville go 2-0 in that, Darryl?
Yeah.
And Johnny Allen just made that the best comment of the night. The boys' 15th region is wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And when you take a look at when you look at these rankings here, I mean, at the end of the day, I'll put our rankings up against anybody's. And they're as close to when you take a look at the RPI and all that, take it for what it's worth, but they're as close to that as there is, because you see some outlets, they put out stuff that's laughable. And this right here, the reason ours is always the truest and the closest the way things are is because we actually have coaches and media members vote on it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it ain't just one person sitting there. Well, I like old Jimmy. Down here in Seymour. I'm gonna vote for his team. That ain't the way it goes here. We actually try to do it the right way. And I think either way, whether you agree with it or not, I think you got the top 16, 17 teams here in receiving votes or that.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, and Darryl's gonna kill me because sometimes I open my mouth and say stuff. Maybe even in the future we look to expand to maybe the top 20.
Right.
Because I mean, there's a lot of great teams that get even left off of just receiving votes.
Well, as we continue to expand, everywhere else it's top 25 AP poll, Coaches Association. Now we're almost at a point where that top 10 it's just too tight. It's got to move to a top 15, top 20 at some point.
I like to think the three of us know a little bit about the 15.
Right, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying a lot.
Right.
But the two teams we picked to win are not in the top 10.
Right.
Yeah. That's.
Tell you anything?
But I also do agree. Like when you're sitting here looking, I think Do I think right now that them two teams should be like? Who are you? Who are you really taking out? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would probably, if this was power rankings, I would have Martin McGoffin probably at 9 and 10, or maybe even Chapmanville there. But when you sit and look at their record, pound for pound, I mean, right now, I mean, just say what it is. Martin County has a 6-7 record.
Yeah.
You cannot put a team with a 6-7 record. I understand why coaches would not vote that.
No. We do it every year in football. There's one school who plays a tough schedule.
Yeah, but football is completely different.
Alum that plays an amazingly hard schedule, and a lot of times they have a losing record. And we say by the end of the year they'll be there. Same way here. I think Martin County will be there at the end.
Football it's completely done different. Any poll that you ever do in football is always power rankings. That's the way everybody does it, and that's the way coaches vote is power rankings. It's not what have you done for me lately, because you would you can't even come close to justifying if a team goes undefeated through the first 8 games and then putting them over a team like Belfry or Pikeville that played the top 5 teams in 3 different states.
Yeah.
You can't justify that in football. In basketball, you got so many people, so many games, so many people playing. You got to go. It's not so much power rankings. It's what have you done for me lately, and it's record wise.
I love our fans. So Boyd County plays McGoffin County, Darryl, in the 2A Friday.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find
we'll
out.
Find out.
Yeah.
Boyd County's number 3, won't we?
Yeah.
And McGoffin County's number 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
13 or 14. We'll find out then.
And Pike Central, you're starting to see the wheels turn. You're starting to see all of a sudden things starting to click for him. Jalen Rigdon, injuries and different things, ankle injury. Now all of a sudden you're starting to see Jalen Rigdon playing well, and I know there's maybe a short-term injury with one of the players, but now Brad Bilter is returning. He was a key part last year defensively coming off that bench. Physicality, toughness, you add that back into the lineup rotation. That's a big piece. Pike Central's a team that's starting to turn things, and you're seeing them become that elite team that you expect them to be.
I just, I'm always picking. I just can't see Pike Central, 16 or 17, or Chapmanville at 17. I can't. They're too good of teams to be that low.
I can't either if you're going by power rankings, but
best teams,
when you take a look, you can't put a team with a 6-7 record that's lost their last 3 over a team that's on an 8-game winning streak and that's 13-2 on the season, like Morgan County.
Morgan County's a good team.
And they're solid.
Hoskins is
player. They're just playing Cupcake City either.
If it was up to me, Preston Hoskins, he's having an unbelievable year right now. And but if it was up to me and you're doing power rankings, I think the top 6 are probably legit, and then I would probably put Martin County, McGoffin County, Chapmanville in as far as the next 3. Tug Valley, their team, they're 4-0. They've not lost, but it's still tough because they play single A ball in West Virginia. They still got to prove themselves against the bigger teams. So and they'll have their chance because they played Logan and I think they have West Side. They already beat West Side. West Side, they're a team that's on the rise that nobody's talking about. Thomas Evans has got a really tough team over there, but I think Pike Central, Martin County, and McGoffin would be in them final 6 with Chapmanville if I was going power rankings.
Right.
Now I understand why it's the way it is because you can't put a 6 and 7 team in the top 10, at this point.
Well, and I know we're going to. I put the rankings back up. I know we're going to hear a lot of people did say, well, McGoffin County just beat Lawrence County last night. Well, this was done before then.
This is done on Mondays. Sunday nights, Monday mornings.
Perfect example is a college poll. The other night I watched Florida Gulf Coast. I watched that game. Florida Gulf Coast 5-9 on the year. They play the number 7th ranked team in the nation in Florida Atlantic. Right?
Yeah.
Florida Atlantic was ranked number 7, ladies and gentlemen, over Kentucky. If you believe that, you're crazy. And Florida Gulf Coast, 5-9, beat Florida Atlantic. Right? So rankings is different. Was Florida Atlantic number 7? Would you say Kentucky's higher than Florida Atlantic? Better team if you go power rankings? Absolutely all night long. But rankings had Florida Atlantic ahead of Kentucky, and Florida Gulf Coast knocked them off. So rankings a little different than who are the best teams come postseason.
And when you sit there and look, they said Pikeville blew Boyd County out.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, we know that, but they also, Pikeville was outside the top 10, so that win probably got them up to where they're at. Yeah.
I just if it's me, I think Boyd County's too high.
And it was on their home floor, and I'm sitting here. Boyd County, they've lost 3 games. To Pike Central, Pikeville, and the Webb School out of Tennessee. That's not shabby losses, and when you sit here they beat Morgan County, they beat Rowan County, they beat Madison Southern, they beat Western. So, they got tough wins under their belt too, It's all about when they're playing, when they're clicking, and I would. That one's tough because I've seen that Boyd County team play. I just if you ask me, is Boyd County, I know watching them play that they're probably at least. If they was in the 15th region, would be 2nd or 3rd in the 15th region at least. Because they are stacked. They got Cohitz, Spurlock, Ellis.
Love hits.
I'm not saying they're not good.
No, they're a good team.
Coming off of 2 losses over Christmas, it's hard to see them ranked 3.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Well, coming off Christmas, you got
they lost at the PIT.
Some of these, I can't even believe that they're still on there. Like right now, Perry Central, they're on a 6-game losing streak. And got blew out by their crosstown rivals. I'm surprised they even got a vote, right now in it after, and they had climbed up to like 7th or something last week. They was, let's see, where was Perry? Perry was at 5 last week. So, or 2 weeks ago because we didn't have last week. And then you got Floyd Centrals. They've lost 3 of their last 4, they're struggling right now. Martin County is sitting on a 6-7 record. Just lost 2 big games up there in Ashland, but you also look. They do got one what people would call a bad loss. It's not technically a bad loss, but against Betsy Lane.
Yeah.
And then
Morgan knocked them off too, right?
That's a bad loss anymore, not?
No,
Betsy Lane's playing good ball.
To most people across the state, Betsy Lane ain't in the top 50 probably, so they would count it as a bad loss.
Just real quick, did Morgan knock them off as well?
Knocked who? Floyd Central.
No, go ahead. Go ahead with Floyd Central.
Yeah. Then Letcher. Here's the thing with Letcher. Looking down their schedule, I don't have it right in front of me, but I can only remember 2 quality wins on their schedule. As good as they are, they beat Knox Central, that's what puts them even gives people, thinking right now. And then they beat, Prestonsburg at the beginning of the year, who's a solid
they got us
team
on the
in the
road.
15th.
That was a solid win on the road. Yeah.
So, but those are the only 2 wins that are solid wins. So
I think another thing, it makes it tough on these polls, is coming out of these Christmas tournaments. You say a team has lost 3 straight. Well, they play teams from Tennessee and South Carolina. And we don't know if they're any good or not.
Right.
They may be a defending state champ. Coach.
Could be defending state. You're exactly right. Could be playing defending state champ, or you'd be playing a bottom feeder Class A.
Yeah, exactly right. So you don't know. Right. So I think in the weeks to come, you'll see a lot of shift. In these
yeah. And then right now, a lot of sickness going on, different injuries, things like that. So that could be playing a part. That's a part of the game. But yeah, power rankings are rankings different.
Player suspensions too. We've had two
key
teams,
players.
Yeah, 2 key players that got into little scuffles and had to sit out.
Yeah, so that's had a lot to do with it too. And when you take a look, I still think that you got the right 16-17 on here. It's just and listen, I tell you, a team that has a strong argument is Johnson Central. Johnson Central. That they've. I think they've won something like 8 of their last 9 or something. And, we seen them lose to Memphis University in Gatlinburg. Yeah. But, if you've seen that Memphis, you would understand why they lost. Last night, they ended up beating a solid Fairview team, 78-72. In that game, Braden Shepard had 12 points, 11 rebounds.
Big time.
So when you're getting Braden Shepard, he was the 3rd leading scorer behind Kyle Rose and Austin Sloan. So, that Johnson Central team, don't sleep on them, because, they're a team that, could make a strong case to being in that top mountaintop team.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to bring us to the end of that segment. When we come back, Thomas, we're working on the offense. Next week we'll have the Lathan Hall Award, but right now we're going to take a look, an early preview. We're a quarter away through the season. Some teams halfway through the season already, and we're going to take a look at the Player of the Year, front runners, dark horses, contenders, and pretenders. We'll be right back here on the Grind Session.
For a great selection and a great experience for your next Harley-Davidson, come on down to Mountain State Harley-Davidson here in Del Barton, West Virginia.
We have new 2023 models in stock and ready for delivery. Special financing available.
Or choose pre-owned with one of the largest inventories in the tri-state area with great low prices.
Visit our showroom filled with licensed Harley-Davidson apparel and more.
Don't write that check until you check with us, Mountain State Harley-Davidson, 61 Priest Bottom Road, or visit us online at mountainstatehd.com.
Looking for a great selection, great prices, and a great experience on your next ATV, motorcycle, or side-by-side? Come check out Keefer's Kawasaki.
Our #1 goal is to offer you the best power sport experience at a great price.
Like this new 23 Kawasaki Teryx 4 for only $17,999. Before you write that check, check with us. And remember, your adventure starts here at Keefer Kawasaki. Route 44 South, Jerry West Highway in Logan, or visit KeefersPowersports.net.
It's our 60th anniversary sale at Kimber's. Since 1963, it's been our family serving your family, and we want to celebrate with you with some of the best offers in our history. Kimber has up to 60% off store-wide, up to 60 months interest-free. With your minimum purchase, free delivery up to 60 miles, and with any mattress purchase, your foundation is only $60. The 60th anniversary sale, only at your favorite Kimber store.
For all your custom ATV and UTV needs, call GFAB at 606-639-2029 or visit us on Facebook. We specialize in custom cages, rock slides, and bumpers. Call today. Let's go riding.
If you want to make your dream home come true, call Solid Rock Development today. Check out some of these interior and exterior jobs they've done over the past few years. Solid Rock Development is making custom dream homes come true at a great price. Family owned, family operated, and faith backed. Give us a call today at Solid Rock Development. If you was pushed out of the area because of loss of work in the coal industry, look no longer. Jim Marr is here for you. Jim Marr is now hiring for all positions in the coal field. Stop by their offices in Logan, West Virginia or in Wheeling, West Virginia and apply today.
Looking for a new pharmacy? Howard Family Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service and convenient drive-thrus at both locations.
Shepard from Oklahoma High School. Continue to follow D&D Sports, best coverage in the mountains.
And we are back here at Glenn Martin Hammond's office. We got Kevin Keathley to my right. I'm Darryl McCoy, and we got the maestro Thomas Rainey directing traffic on the boards. This segment is sponsored by.
The segment is sponsored by our good friends at Citizens Bank of Kentucky.
Citizens Bank of Kentucky makes it convenient and easy. You can drive up to the drive-thru to the ATM and deposit a check. Right, you can deposit cash through the ATM in your account.
That's big time, right? Changes the game.
Convenient and easy.
Yeah.
Hit them up, guys. I promise you, you'll never find a bank that you like banking with more than what you will Citizens Bank. So as we're sitting here looking, we see Timmy Hall says his favorite award is the Lathan Hall Award. Well, we'll try to get you took care of next week. We'll try to nail that down to who are the maybe top 16 in that. But right now, we got looking halfway through the season, Coach. We're going to look, Thomas, we're going front runners first.
Yeah, let's go with the front runners. We talked about it. We thought this would be a great conversation. Halfway point, who do we think is the front runner? So, Darryl McCoy, here we go.
Who do we got?
All right. McGoffin County's Aiden Barnett, Ashland's Xander Carter, Breathitt County's Austin Sperry, and Chapmanville's Zion Blevins.
Now, how we done this is we picked a kid from the 14th, 15th, 16th, and West Virginia in each one.
Yeah.
So these are your front runners, Coach. Aiden Barnett, Xander Carter, Austin Sperry, Zion Blevins representing the West Virginia side. You got any quarrels with the front runners in each region?
No quarrels. No quarrels.
Uh-oh. We got through the front runners.
Messed up there.
We'll have the contenders up next.
All right. So these are who we're thinking is the contenders, Coach. All right. Get ready. Here we go. Out of the 16th, Boyd County's Jacob Spurlock. Pike Central's Jalen Rigdon. In the 15th. The 14th, let's go with Peyton Dixon. And out of West Virginia, Julius Clancy from Logan.
Well, all right. Total agreement, Mr. Julius Clancy. Okay. I think that kid's a real deal.
Yep.
A little tough when you go straight. Is that the next runner-up? Jacob Spurlock over at 16th Region having a really good year right now. Really good year.
Is he the second best player in the 16th Region, in your opinion?
Well, I think he's right there. I'm not sure that he's putting those numbers up to be player of the year, especially D&D Sports Network coverage area. He's right there. He could be third, fourth. But I love Spurlock. I love his game. Plays for Indiana Elite, great player. But he's teetering. He's right there.
His chance. Can you look his stats up?
Who's?
Spurlock's.
Yeah.
I think he's teetering to be that next guy. But I love his game. And Jalen Rigdon, how he's playing right now, I think he's moved back into that second spot here in the 15th region.
I think he has to. I think at the beginning of the year, I think they may have been two guys that jumped ahead of him.
Yeah.
I think, but when you take and look, Spurlock, you got to remember too, how many players in any region in our coverage area can drop 43 in a game.
Sure.
He is averaging 23.9 points a game, shooting 52.7% from the field. This is crazy. 49.6% behind the arc.
See,
Think about that. And then, his free throws, he's only 81%.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And let's just say, he averages 6.5 rebounds too. So, he does all right.
Having a really good year.
I think it's clear cut that he's the second best player in 16th.
My only thing is he's playing alongside a guy that is in his own way, Darryl McCoy, that in some ways brings a little more to the Mr. Cole Hicks brings a little more to the table when you got those weapons around you. Because I look at it, I don't know how you're looking at Player of the Year, but I'm looking at it as who do you got around you, and if you pull them out, how are they going to play? Is that how you're looking at it, or are you just looking at it statistical or in most valuable player of the year?
I think statistical has
a lot to
large
do with it.
part
Of course,
to do
got
with
to.
it.
Got to.
But here's the thing, and I get what you're saying. He might not be the most complete player on his team, but he's definitely the most dynamic offensive player in the 16th region, and it ain't close as far as offense goes.
His pull-up game and his jump shot as good as anybody's in a region. I think his getting to the rim game, maybe not as a Cole Hicks or a Xander Carter, maybe not, but you're right. In terms of his 15 and out game, man, just really good.
And here's another way, and I'm
a fan. I know their parents, they tune in every week. Listen, folks, I love his game. He's a big time player.
If he's a fan, you couldn't tell it, could you, Tom?
No, what?
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, he when you take and look, here's the thing. How many players do you see that can actually play Division I? That's a kid that can play D1 ball, because there's no. His ability offensively is so special that it, may take and help make up for something that he may not be in another area, and that's just my opinion. But we'll find out when we see who the third.
So you were calling these the dark horses, right?
The dark horses.
This will be sitting in third place. They've got a lot of things they got to go to make it happen. Here we go. Out of the 15th, we're going to go with Cool Hand Luke Hale. Going over to the 14th, Evan Eversole. Coming out of West Virginia, high scoring, high flying Parker Watts.
Yep.
And out of the 16th, let's travel down to Morgan County for Preston Hoskins.
When you take and look, it's tough. Numbers wise, I think them three guys would probably be the next three in line if you just went numbers wise. But it's a conversation. It's tough because you normally in these conversations, it's hard to get two players from one team. On any kind of list like this, but it would be hard to. I'm sitting here looking like I don't know. Luke Hill's having such a special year. Eversole, now he's a kid that could be on that contender list. Him and I think Peyton Dixon are right there side by side. I think Eversole, I can't remember what he's averaging, but it's near a double-double, something like 17 and 8 or something like that. But, Parker Watts, you see him averaging over 40 a game. Although their schedule's weak, that's my downfall with him. At the end of the day, you got to look who they play, too. and I want to see him do it against a big time team before he jumps up in that contender or front runner spot. But Preston Hoskins, look at what he done there in Ashland. Led his team to 3 big victories, and when you take a look at the percentages that he's shooting, is unbelievable.
Well, Preston Hoskins is really good. I watched him through the summer or spring, fall workout with my son Braxton. They worked out together, played one-on-one together. So I know his versatility, Darryl. Morgan County, without him, they're a totally different team. So definitely he's one of those guys that's a dark horse. And I'm with you on this, Darryl McCoy. If every team plays down teams, but if you're playing teams that are sub 500 every single night, then it's hard to get a gauge of where you are as a basketball talent. And I'm not talking about anybody in general terms, but you brought that up. I think that's important to note when you talk about a player of the year.
No, I agree, because you see, there's a few in the 15th region. You got to look at who you play. No matter who you play, if you drop 43 a night, that's
right.
special.
No.
But but you also got to look, at okay, when you do play tough teams, what do you do, and what are you going to do in the future against tough teams? And you take and look, we've seen the kid play. No matter if he was on on one of the top 5 teams, he would be putting crazy numbers up. He's that special. He's that special of a kid. But he also plays single A ball in West Virginia, which they have to play. It's not their choice, but they have to play some not so good teams sometimes. Mm-hmm. So it's tough.
If you're averaging 38, you're a player there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're a player. Let's just say that.
And Eversole averaging 23 and 8 a game. Think of that. And he's shooting 55 from field goal percentage, 47% from 3, and 82% from the free throw line.
Wow.
You think of that. That's your center that's shooting 47% from 3-point range.
How the world has changed. Right?
And he's an elite defender.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But that brings us, Thomas, to the Pretenders.
Now, let's explain Pretenders.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure someone's going to take a snip of one part of this and turn it completely out of proportion.
Yeah.
The first 3, any one of those 3 could win Player of the Year.
Yep.
If they had an outstanding second half of the season. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree 100%.
So now, the Pretenders, they have to have a great rest of the season, and they have to have help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're saying the odds of them winning are not great, but they still deserve to be mentioned. So don't think we're making fun of them.
That was my thoughts exactly when you said contenders, pretenders, because in the PC world we live in, people's going to say, oh, well, you said my son was a pretender. No, your son is one of the top 16 players. One of the top 4 players in their respective regions.
But again, we want to mention this player has to have help to win the award.
Yeah.
By that means the other 3 players have to have down second halves of the season.
So can we all agree, guys, that do you get the gist of it?
Yeah.
So these are the 4th players in the voting, or who we think will be the player of the year in their respective areas.
All right, here we go. Much as I hate to. Charlie Fitzer from Pikeville in the 15th region. Braden Ferris from Tug Valley over in West Virginia. Jaden Huff from Knott County Central in the 14th. And Fairview's Stephen Day is what we would consider needs some help. How about that?
Yeah, Fairview has to win meaningful ball games. He has to continue to put blockbuster numbers up and be a big part of why his team wins. But right now, when you take a look statistical-wise, he's one of the 4 or 5 most special players in that region.
Yeah, he's putting up really good numbers, and he's had a great career as well.
Yeah. I I ain't even seen what his career numbers is, but I mean, you just taking a look at what he's doing this year, and you taking, you build that off, the consistency of 2-3 years doing it. I mean, that's got him up there, as one of the top 4 players now. And like I said, in Player of the Year, a lot of it has to do with statistics. A lot of it does. And it's not all, but it's a lot.
Listen, any sport, that is a barometer.
Gauge.
Right, it's the gauge.
But when you take a look, also, I mean, like, are we saying he's better than Caleb Rimmer, Cole Hicks, Tyler Lalonde? Are we saying he's better than them? No, he may or may not be, but statistically, this kid's special.
Oh, exactly right. And then you go over to the 15, Charlie Fitzer.
Yeah, I mean,
my goodness, what numbers he's putting up.
And right now, with Pikeville making their move, that could help Charlie Fitzer go a long way in this voting, when we do Player of the Year. If Pikeville goes and they make this run into a region championship, he could overtake Barnett and Rigdon and Hill as the Player of the Year. If Pikeville goes on and you see them playing at Rupp-Arena.
Well, winning's going to offset numbers sometimes, and it always does by some degree. If it was just based on numbers, I don't know if Fitzer. I love Fitzer. I think he double machine, right?
Yep.
But I think just if you and I haven't looked at his numbers in the last week, but I believe he's at 14-10. That's pretty dang good. That's pretty dang good. Offensively, Pikeville's down this year, so you expect scoring to be down. Eli Johnson's numbers a little down as well because they're not scoring as well. All different offense. I expect those numbers to go up, especially Eli's. But if Pikeville wins, that moves Fitzer into that category of being an opportunity to be a finalist.
Yeah, and the others have to have something has to happen, and Rigdon has to have a bad second half. Barnett has to have a bad second half. We're not saying the door's closed, but it's slowly closing.
Pikeville wins the 15th region, and they're playing in Rupp, and Fitzer, gets 2 or 3 more points a game. If he's averaging 3 to 4 blocks a game, and he's averaging 11, 12 boards,
right,
then he's done what it takes to get it. But he's still got work to do. And that's what the Pretenders is for. Now, Braden Ferris is a special case because his big thing is we've got to see Tug win big ball games and him be the key guy. This kid, take nothing away from this kid. This kid is one of the elite PGs in the mountains. I mean, his ability to change pace is like no other. And he can be your best distributor or he can be your leading scorer. He can play any role that you ask him to play. This kid, very special player, and I don't know. It's going to be tough, but Tug Valley, if they go on and they win or they get to the state title game, you could see him, jumping up there in that conversation.
Yeah. And then you go to Jaden Huff over in the 14.
Yeah, 1,000-point scorer. Jaden Huff, what he's doing right now, Knott County has to overcome, I think, Breathitt and Hazard, as they got to knock them off in the tournament, and Jaden Huff has to, lead the way for Jaden Huff to be, the guy over there for the 14.
And I'm a big fan of Huff. We watched him several times up close and personal. Coach Huff, one of the very best coaches, gets the most out of his guys. You're right. Knott County, if they jump, one of those two teams make a run, region finalist, I can see Huff maybe, you never know, sneaking in there.
Absolutely, and we'll talk. When we do next week, we'll do the girls, and then we'll go to the Lathan Hall Award and do boys and girls. But there's 2 or 3 other kids in the region that could jump up there in that conversation or overtake some of these kids that's on the list. In the next couple of weeks, if they have a special couple of weeks as they start to step into district play.
Yeah.
But guys, that'll bring us to the end of our second to last segment. When we come back, we will have our fast break for the final segment. We got the Maestro Thomas Rainey, Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy. You're watching the Grind Session.
Looking for a friendly and fun atmosphere to enjoy your daily cuisine, come to Cheech's Pizza in Lenore, West Virginia. Cheech's Pizza has world-renowned cheese sticks, delicious pizza, and the best subs in the pizza and pasta game. Don't forget to take advantage of our milkshake shop located inside. Bring your family down to meet ours. We are the place that treats you like family from the second you pull in the parking lot. We look forward to seeing you here at Cheech's Pizza.
I started at Double Quick as an associate when I was still in high school, and I quickly realized that there was a career in front of me.
Whenever I was a store manager, I graduated college and I expected to leave about a year after graduation. I knew that this was a place that I could continue to grow, I could continue to be challenged both personally and professionally, and that's the reason that I'm still here today.
Start your career today at Double Quick.
Apply at doublequick.com and start your career today.
Come on down to Three Guys Pizza and Brew in Williamson, West Virginia. We're located on the corner of Harvey Street and 3rd Avenue. We got great deals on pizzas, sandwiches, and more. You get great service with great pricing. Enjoy your birthday or ball games with us here at Three Guys Pizza and Brew. Look forward to seeing you.
Kentucky Farm Bureau agents wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
If you've recently had a loved one pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones.
Office in Coal Run, the #1 lawyer in the Pikeville area. Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, the Maestro Thomas Rainey.
#1 Darryl McCoy.
#1 lawyer in the Pikeville area, Glenn Martin Hammonds. He's built us this beautiful studio here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Listen, build it with his own hands.
That's it. McCoy. Build it with his own hands, his own hard work. We can't thank Glenn enough for everything he does for D&D Sports Network.
Absolutely.
So, as we're coming down to the fast break, Thomas, we got a ton of comments coming in. We got Coach Honeycutt tuning in.
Yeah.
Coach Honeycutt, I know, did they drop one with Sperry lately?
No, well, they went down and lost against a really good, I believe, Muhlenberg team, maybe.
Muhlenberg.
Maybe.
Muhlenberg can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they again, Sperry came back and it was like they didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, that's when you're sitting here, Tim Hall says that Fitzer's averaging at least 7 blocks a game.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's Player of the Year worthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I tell you what. That may have him in the front runner seat for the Lathan Hall Award.
Yeah, exactly.
With 7 blocks a game. But when you sat here, going over some of the stuff that we still got to go over here, Thomas. Braden Brandenburg, 1,000 points, 700 rebounds for Powell County, playing next to a talent like Jack Rose. How special are them two?
We watched them last year. We got a chance to see them for the first time up close and personal. Me and you walked away saying, these two guys alone give Powell County enough to cut down nets and get to Rupp Arena. They're that special together, Brandenburg and Rose.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
Yeah.
And but congratulations on him. Jaden Huff, 1,000-point scorer. And, who would have known, he spent, I think, his first 2 years at Knott County, went to Letcher County for a year, and now he's back at Knott County doing monster things, but reaching that 1,000-point milestone, huge for him.
Big time. 1,000 points is that kind of barometer that says, hey, I made an impact during my high school career.
Yeah. Luke Hale picks up an offer from Austin Sparrow and CU Harrodsburg.
Austin Sparrow, you know what he said, Darryl McCoy?
What did he say?
He said, listen, you give me the diamonds in the rough. You give me the second or third best options on the team. You give me the guys that are fighting for playing time, and that's who I want to wear that uniform. But guess what? No, Luke Hale ain't that second or third option. You're getting a PT Peter out of Mr. Luke Hale if he comes down to Campbellsville.
You absolutely are. And we just got, speaking of middle school, we'll talk about it here before we go off, but Logan just lost to Hurricane 48-43. So that's 2 games Logan's dropped in the last couple of weeks. We'll see, next week when we come back out with the rankings where exactly they rank now. But, that's but listen, make no mistake about it. This is a very, very special Logan team. I mean, Dillman Chapmanville Middle play on Friday night. Right. We'll get them predictions before we leave air. And then sitting here, Thomas, last night the GOAT was inducted to the Hall of Fame in Phelps, Kentucky. Irvin Stepp inducted first team All-State 1979 and 1980, Mr. Basketball in 1980, career points 3,228 career points. He scored 75, 69, 68, 66, 65, 65, 63, 62, all in 1 year. And then he averaged his junior year, he averaged 53.7 points a game, and then his senior year he averaged 47 a game.
If I'm not mistaken, and I could be way off on this, but he's second or third in the 15th region in the history of scoring.
Now you talking boys and girls?
No, just boys.
I'd say
I think he's second or third. There's somebody, a school that doesn't exist anymore over there by the Wayland area.
King Kelly.
No. King Kelly. Then there's someone else.
Or King Kelly was in. That's 14th, right?
No.
King 15th.
Yeah.
And then there was someone else during that same period, I believe, that has. He's either second or third. That's unbelievable. Urban Stepp. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that would blow me away if I don't know who it would. I'm sitting here trying to think. I mean, Todd May, Jody Thompson.
Yeah.
I know J.J. Hilton had over 3,000.
You get
points.
3,000. You're in rarefied air.
Rarefied air. Rarefied air.
And I'm sitting here, just trying to think. I don't know who else that would blow my mind if, maybe one of them older guys back in the Sheldon
60s,
Clark days.
It was during the 60s, early 60s, I believe.
Maybe something for Martin Purple Flash. Or,
only if my phone hadn't died.
Right.
Yeah. But when you sit here and look, though, congratulations to Irvin. He's a huge supporter of ours, and he's one of our guys at D&D. He's worked with us in the past and done amazing things. But
great player.
Yeah,
legend.
But then I also want to. We don't have a graphic for it, but Andrew Bloomfield hits 1,000 points for Lawrence County.
Yeah. So, what about that, Darryl McCoy?
That's huge. I didn't see that coming, but he for him to get that milestone, that's got to give him a lot of confidence. Just a special kid on and off the floor. If you ever met the kid, a class act.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then Coach Darren Peterson, number 1 player guard in the 2025 class, plays for Huntington Prep. Yeah, you can watch them right here on D&D Sports Network. Darren Peterson cut his list down to the final 8, and that includes Kansas, North Carolina, Arkansas, Baylor, Indiana, Kentucky, and who am I missing?
Not Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State. Yep. So that's his final 8. And when you take a look, we spoke to the young man. We ain't going to spill any beans, but, I think he does have a clear favorite, but, I think a lot of people's looking in, trying to get that crystal ball, and they're looking in, trying to say, okay, well, he signed the Adidas deal. Will he be at an Adidas school? The thing to remember, that was a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So but you also, that still plays a factor because you got that loyalty and that connection issue that you build up with this company.
It is, Darryl McCoy, and you nailed a good point. A 1-year deal. Well, first, ladies and gentlemen, he narrowed his. He told us his final 16 right here on the D&D Sports Network in a post-game interview. Cut it to 8. Again, like you said, not spilling any beans, but I guarantee you, I would say, here's what I'm going to say. I would say a dark horse to look at would be Arkansas. A dark horse. But I'm with you, not spilling any beans. I think he's got some clear favorites.
I think he's got 3 clear favorites. I think one of them he leaning toward, but I think there's 3 clear ones, and I think I think the 4th one would probably be Arkansas. Do you think you're right on that one?
Don't challenge me. I will find the answer, Coach. You were correct.
Yeah.
Of course, Kelly Coleman over at Wayland. Charlie Osborne from Flat Gap.
Flat Gap
In 53 to 57 scored 3,647 points.
Wow.
Then comes, if you're looking at just 15th region schools, then comes Irvin Stepp with 3,228. And 5th, if you're talking about just 15th region schools, Todd Conley from Elkhorn City.
Wow.
3202.
Wow.
Thank you, KHSAA.
Most people don't know him by Todd Conley.
Hoss, wasn't it?
Hef Conley. But Coach May said the same thing. He said Charlie Osborne at Flat Gap said 3,647 points.
See, there we go.
And like I said, I know that JJ had over at Belfry had over 3,000 too, and then probably in my mind the 2 best offensive players since King Kelly.
JJ was 6th with 3140, and you know who was 7th in the 15?
Jody Thompson.
No, our good friend J.R. Van Hoos.
Oh wow,
3,095.
Yeah, so that right there. But in my mind, since the King Kelly era, I think there's 2 offensive players that have blown me away, and I could be biased because I call both of them friends. But I think the 2 best offensive players since King Kelly, Irvin Stepp, Cameron Justice.
Cameron Justice is the number 1 14th region scorer with 3,587 points.
He's 3rd all time, right, in the state.
He was until now he's 4th.
Yeah.
Line County.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize he was that high on the list.
Oh yeah. He was putting 35 plus a night.
And not to leave out our good friends up in the 16th. Jonathan Ferguson from Elliott County from 2003 to 2009 had 3,377 points.
Wow, he played since 7th grade. Yeah.
Yeah, so listen. At the end of the day, Whitney Creech has bragging rights.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So have you guys noticed that the KHSAA still has Jenkins in the 15th region?
Yeah, I have noticed that. I was like, when's that going to change?
Yeah, right? I noticed, and I noticed a lot of people was beating on the Dave Cantrell ratings, and because they was laughing because he had Jenkins in the 15th, and then I went and looked, and I was like, KHSAA has them in the 15th.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't understand. I ain't looked to see, did they got them in the 14th too?
No, my question is this kind of like they're kind of in the bridge year. They're in the abyss, so to speak, and it's that year before they're officially back into a district. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think from my understanding,
I thought it was this year.
Right now they're sitting like 10-2 on the year, so
they
hopefully they got a chance to play in the region tournament. I'm sitting here trying to make sure that I didn't leave anything off here before we get to all A predictions. Somebody asked us to give our all A predictions, Coach. What's yours?
Well,
Thomas, do you got game by game or no?
Yeah, I got it. Go ahead.
I tell you, on girls' side, start with girls real quick.
Listen, I'm going to go with. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm going to go. Obviously, Pikeville cutting down the nets.
That's the easy one.
Yeah,
that's easy.
Yeah.
Pikeville. Tonight Belfry beat Prestonsburg
and a really good one, from what I understand.
Yeah, 40-35. Jalea Warren left the team, but undoubtedly she's back.
She
now.
did return.
Yep.
Yeah.
So her coming back, I think, may open some eyes, and Belfry may play a lot better now because we watched them play at Hazard and they struggled.
Yeah, they did. They got Betsy Lane this Saturday night.
No, is it Saturday?
I believe so.
Okay, if they play Saturday, that's going to be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Betsy Lane, keep an eye on them as a dark horse. I don't think they can beat Pikeville, but I think they can win a ball game.
Hey, listen, the biggest upset I've ever seen in girls basketball around here was at the Expo Center in the Class A, and Eastridge knocked off Pikeville in the Class A to make it to the finals.
Oh, well, who was that just a couple weeks ago? Huge upset.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen a
big one.
Oh, Betsy Lane beat Martin County.
Yeah. That was a big one.
Yeah. That was something that shocked everybody
Huge.
on the boys' side. So interesting. We got Ryan Osborne says Hazard plays Jenkins next week in the All A 14th region. So that's going to be a good one. You're seeing Winston Lee and his group come in. A 10-2 record. Hazard's only lost one game on the year, so you're going to have 3 losses between the two teams. I think Hazard has definitely played more competition. Jenkins, they play a lot of them Virginia teams that people don't know a lot about because they're right there on the border. And it's easy for them to play on and get to.
Yeah.
But we do know. I don't know what all the All A games are, but we do know in round 1. We know that Prestonsburg plays Paintsville.
Yeah.
Who you got in that one?
Man, Darryl, it's always bulletin board material. Either way, listen, both teams very similar. Outside of Mr. Brock Woods, 6'7", can do a lot of things. I'm going to go. Well, it's going to depend on injuries and health for Prestonsburg. They're down multiple guys, and you never know what could happen. Darryl McCoy, I'm here. You're telling me some things. I'm going to go if all things are on the table and everybody's healthy. I'm going to go with the Black Cats eking that one out. But it could go either way.
I think that I think if Farmer Brian Holbert's playing and Prestonsburg is only missing one player, I think that Prestonsburg will have a good chance to win it. But right now that guard play, man, Anderson Loffer having a special year right now for Paintsville, and it's going to be hard to for anybody to beat them with that guard play. So Prestonsburg is going to have to show. If I know people in Prestonsburg think they may have one of the top 3 or 4 defensive backcourts in the region, where they're going to have to show it because these guards for Paintsville is the real deal. And then Ethan Cole, he can take and give you 25-30 on any given night
and play about any spot on the floor.
Yeah. So but if you just talk predictions wise, I think it's Pikeville's to lose.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's some time, Thomas Rainey, for if Duff is out.
Oh, I forgot Martin County.
That it takes some time for them to kind of figure things out because they got a heck of a player in Peyton Davis stepping right in.
Yeah.
But until they get things figured out, I think it's Pikeville to cut down those nets.
I think it's Pikeville, Martin County.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I was thinking Martin County, being 2A, but
and Pikeville has Belfry up in the first round.
So, that I think at the end of the day, I think that's I think Martin County. I think Betsy Lane could shock some people. They could be the dark horse to win.
I love Betsy Lane. Oh my goodness, I love Betsy Lane. What they're doing.
Total difference. What a year makes.
Yeah, you're right.
It's all in leadership right there. I'm telling you.
And Pente and Parsons, man, them two. That's a stud backcourt. Yeah,
dogs right there.
And that's the question: will Pente be available? I've not seen if he's. I know he's missed 5 games. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but congratulations to Ashley winning the AIT in impressive fashion, and then Martin County, although they lost. They gave, or I think it was Martin County. It might have been Pike Central that gave Campbell County a run. But then over, like we said, we had Paintsville going to the finals against Avon. Avon won the Mountain Schoolboy Classic, and then you had. Paintsville probably had the best record in the Prestonsburg Christmas tournament.
The Paintsville played well.
Yeah, played really well.
Brock Woods looked really, really good.
Yeah, very interesting there. But then Friday night, Chapmanville versus Logan, middle school basketball.
Wow.
And we got word before the show, Shelby Valley has agreed to play a home and home with Chapmanville. We're supposed to get the dates. We might have them, before we leave here in a second. But them dates, and then Chapmanville will play Betsy Lane. So the middle school top 10 will curve itself out, before it's all said and done, because there is no coach running from anybody this year. No. Everybody is playing everybody, and that's what when. D&D Sports started doing these rankings. That was our vision. We want people in Chapmanville or Madison, West Virginia, or Logan caring about what's going on in, in Beaver and Hazard and Floyd County. That's what this has done. And right now, I think one of the I think everybody is sleeping and overlooking Mullins. That Mullins team is very tough, but I can't wait to see the rankings come out next week and see how they land in the middle school rankings, because a lot's going to be found out between now and then, especially with that Chapmanville Logan Middle School. Who you got now?
Listen, I got Chapmanville. I got them getting it done in a big way.
It's at Logan.
Oh, there we go. So,
yeah.
All right.
And it's not a big gym. This is going to be a cozy little field. I did a girls' game over there last year. I love it. Don't get me wrong. To me, it's going to be an environment. How about that?
Yeah, I'm going to say Logan's coming off a loss. Off at Hurricane. I think that.
I'll go Logan.
You're going Logan?
I'm going Logan. Sorry, Ashley.
Well. So I'm the tiebreaker here. I tell you, I think Logan gets it.
I'm just thinking at Logan.
That's the only reason.
I think, and it's a rivalry. I mean, it's two teams. They don't like one another.
No.
Rivalry.
Yeah, this is a true rivalry game. I'm sitting here, I'm just going through. No, actually, I'm gonna go Chapmanville. I think at the last minute, because I think one of the biggest differences is I think the Maynard kid coming over. I think gives them a leg up down on the block.
Right.
But it's going to be tough, man, because Bentley Williamson and and Zoe Murphy. That's the one that everybody always forgets. Listen, that's David Early's little brother. The kid can flat out play. Bentley Williamson. You got Lucas Lambert. This is going to be, a very good, heated ball game. I'm going to go Logan. I'm back on Logan. I'm sticking with Logan. I'm going to go Logan. At home. It's a flip-em game.
Yeah.
But, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, the crowd and, I'm gonna go. It being on Friday night. If it was on a weeknight, that would have something to do with it in my mind too. But Friday night, I think you're going to have everybody filling in there to watch that game. It could be overwhelming for Chapmanville. But I'm trying to make sure we got everything. New Year's resolutions, guys. Do y'all have any New Year's resolutions that y'all have nailed down and promised yourselves are going to happen?
What do you got, Maestro?
I don't know. Let me think. I don't make them usually. I don't.
I'm the generic answer is of course go on a diet.
Right.
That's the generic answer. Everybody wants to go on a diet.
Somebody told me yesterday. One of my kids said, "I wish these New Year's people get out of the gym."
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Yep.
He said usually takes about 3 weeks. Usually takes about 3 weeks to run them out.
Yeah, Wes Hicks says he's suggesting a Kentucky versus West Virginia middle school shootout. Well, that would be great, Wes, but West Virginia's rules don't allow them to play more than 22 games. So, it's hard for them to schedule anything like that.
Anything, it has. There's so many rules.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
We tried it last year, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and so it's very rough to make happen. But New Year's resolutions, diet, probably. One of my big things is, I've been, having a lot of, chest pains and stuff like that. I'm, in 2023, I'm going to try, I know it's hard, but try to rid negativity.
Yeah.
I'm anything negative in my life, it's really got to me. And it's tough with the job we do. I see Thomas laughing. But
the easiest way is just don't read the comments and come in.
That's it. But anymore, I found myself the last couple of weeks. I'm slowly, but it's just tough. I hate not enjoying life. We only get one shot at this. I just don't want negative stuff around me anymore because it's just I'm getting too old. It's dangerous, and I want to spend a long, healthy life with my kids. So those are probably the two things: health issues.
Coach, and then I'll go back.
Well, here's what we do in the Keathley household. We've done it 8 or 9 years now. We do goals instead of resolutions, and my kids, they'll write down 10 goals they want to accomplish. Whether it's sports related, academics, or spiritually, whatever the case may be, they'll write 10 down, and we'll check them off, and we stay at it the entire year to see if they reach those goals. It's amazing, Thomas Rainey, when you write those goals down on paper, and you actually work to execute them, how many you actually accomplish. So we do a little different there. And I base it more around the family aspect of what they can accomplish more so than me. And I try to help them accomplish what they can accomplish.
Well, I guess I will go. I got to be a better husband and father. We had a big event happen last night. Maddie left again to go to school. She's now in PA school. But before Jake was there. Well, now Jake's gone, Maddie's gone, so it's just me and Michelle. So I've got to spend some time.
Oh.
Got to make sure I spend some more time with the wife and do a better job there.
Yep, that's.
Please tell her somebody send this video clip on the audio. Yeah, thank you all.
Thomas getting brownie points over there on the scope.
That's right. Somebody video clip that.
Right.
No, seriously. It does. It's huge. And I thought about that last night. I was like, dang, where'd they go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you two that's got kids, enjoy every minute.
Yep.
Don't complain about the stuff you can't control. And just focus on the good times.
It is, and of course, as a business, we want this to make the turn to a business that we know will be here for your grandkids to enjoy, to benefit from.
And I was going to say that business-wise, I think we've got to. We took a huge step the last 2 years.
Yep.
Now we got to run. So there's a couple things we got to roll out. We've got to get more things, and I look for a bright 2024. There is some big things sitting out there that's just inches away from happening.
Yeah. So that's the goals, guys. You guys feel free. We'll go back and read these comments. So feel free from the show to now. Make sure you leave your resolutions. We want to hear them too, and want to see what you guys are doing. It may help us in our lives. John Mead says Valley Middle plays Chapmanville at Shelby Valley High School on February 10th, right before the high school plays Pike Central. Should be a great environment.
We want to request permission to be there this street. Go ahead and put that down, John. We requested permission.
That's going to be a heck of a ball game, seeing them come over. Yep. So that'll be crazy. Chapmanville, nobody travels like Chapmanville.
Well, that'll be 2 great games back to back, too. Then you got the high school with Shelby Valley and Pike Central. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like we said, Chapmanville, they got that big trio with Maynard, Sarton, and Dalton. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very tough. I can't wait till next week. Make sure you tune in so we can give you the middle school top 10. Thomas, I think that's got all of our topics tonight, guys. We hope you had a Merry Christmas. We hope New Year's. We hope 2024 brings you all your wishes and all your goals that you're trying to achieve. And for Thomas the Maestro Rainey, Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, you watched another episode of The Grind Session. Till next time, so long and good night.
Game winner right there.